Here's a little story, an Appalachian story across these mountains and across rural America, in these small towns, how we spent our summers. There was not many theme parks back in them days, not much to do like that, but there was plenty to do in all these mountains, plenty to keep up with, and we really had a good time. So I'm going to share a few little stories and adventures with you of growing up in Appalachia in a small town. Now, in the corner of the little world that we live in, I grew up in these Appalachian Mountains, where Tennessee, Kentucky, and Virginia all come together. They call it the tri-state area. And this is way before cell phones and any of that stuff. A lot simpler life, but it seemed like it was so much fun. There's the gap below. Now, I grew up in the mining communities, in a little mining camp. And as I got older, Dad got a little better on his feet. We moved out of the mining camps into like closer to town in like the outskirts. And I grew up trying to learn responsibilities, earning some money. I was always in the summertime. School was out, mowing grass, trying to earn a little living. And I'd get my wagon out every chance I could, and I'd hit these old back roads and these highways. Pop bottles was everywhere, but they was in high demand. I wasn't the only kids looking for these things. It was hard work finding some of them. Well, I'd find them, then you had to clean them up. But it was well worth the while. I'd head them down to the country store there and cash them in. Sometimes I'd get 50 cents, sometimes I'd get $2 or $3, according to how much I had. Well, my mom's brother, my uncle, my dad's working all the time. He'd come and pick us up, take us to town, had to do some trading. Take Mom to do some trading, and us kids would go too. We'd head into the town of Minnesboro there, just inside where we live. Do a little shopping. We'd always go to Woolsworth. That was the big store of the day. And my uncle, he would always buy us a little hot dog or bag of tater chips or something, or an ice cream cone. It was always nice in there. And we'd always head over here while Mom was shopping. We'd go over here to the old Mandarin Theater, they called it. And we'd have to stand in line. It's usually matinee day on Saturday. And it'd be crowded if you didn't get in line there quick to get you a good seat. But you'd get 2 movies for one price. I believe it was like 50 cents back in them days, $1. And after that was over with, I'd like to go right across the street there to the old Army-Navy store. I love looking at stuff like that. And just window shopping. As a kid, it amazed me, the stuff that you just can't never have. We'd shop around here. I'd like to look at the old cars that's out too, the new cars, the automobiles. And we'd catch up with Mom, and we'd have to do some trading before we go home. At the old supermarket. And we'd have to call my uncle there, because Dad was still working, to come get us, take us home. You don't even remember what that was. He'd always stop and get us an ice cream. I can remember these old ice cream trucks, can't you, growing up? You'd hear them going way off in the distance coming. My brothers, oh, ice cream coming, ice cream coming. Well, time you get your stuff together, get it. They're done gone that way out of sight. Well, I guess we missed that one. If you ain't ready, you ain't ready. They're gone. Well, you'd spend the evenings there. We'd play softball, baseball, basketball, whatever we could. I never did like marbles much because I couldn't keep them long enough to play. I'd lose every one I had. Never was good at that. Well, my dad was off on the weekend. We'd get in that finger mashing Ford, and he'd head us on across into Tennessee. And we'd go down here with my uncles, and we'd all meet up. We're going to spend a weekend on the lake, fishing. Down there in the old 33 bridge on the Clinch side of North Lake. get down there at the old boat dock with my uncles. We'd get our fishing supplies, boats, make sure we had everything we needed, and we'd head on out. Go up the lake there and camp on an island somewhere. We'd fish all night long. Some of my uncles would fish off the bank there at the camp. Some of us would get out and fish in the boat. Really enjoyed it, and I had some real good times. I'd catch a lot of bluegill, a good catfish every once in a while, but I was just learning, so I was never as good as my uncles. Here's what they would bring home. Of course, I would do this later as I become a man. Look at the crappie there. There wasn't no limit in them days. And man, we done some fish cleaning. I learned to clean them fish. I could fillet them right out in just a few seconds. And we'd sit there at the camp, and that's where I love to hear all these old stories of these mountains, my elders. I miss that so bad, listening to them tell me these stories. That's why I like to share them. Well, during the week, I would get with my friends too when we got back home, and we'd head up to an old place there in Bell County called Devil's Garden. Y'all watching this video, some of you might know it, it's just an old fishing hole. Water comes out of them old caves and springs there, right on the backside of Cumberland Mountain. 50 cents you could do it all day long. And we used to go skating too. My friends would pick us up if you could afford to go. We used to spend time there a little bit. And when my dad got off for vacation, he'd get in that old finger mashing board and we'd head out. I always wanted to go somewhere. But we'd have to stop there and get some old gas there in town. And back then, it was self-service. They come out, check your oil, clean your windshield, check your everything. And here's about what the prices was that I could remember, give or take around here. It's changed a lot since then, ain't it? I miss them days so bad. We'd head on across Massacre Mountain, Old Cumberland Mountain, 25E, heading towards Tennessee. Now you had to stop at Cudjoe's Cave always. Get a pack of cigarettes or look at souvenirs. And Dad wouldn't let us out much here because we'd want too much. He never would have let us out much. And we'd head on down 25E, stay on it. We got to Maggie Valley. We went into Cherokee, North Carolina. I can remember taking our pictures with the Native American chiefs. Loved that stuff. And we'd come across the Smokies to see these beautiful views. So beautiful, I can remember that. So awesome to see that kind of country. And we'd head that old finger mashing forward back towards the house. That was a good weekend. And then, if Dad, before he went back, usually got a week or two off, we'd head us up there and he'd take us to a drive-in, we'd all eat. And then we'd do a real rare treat. We'd get to go to the drive-in. We loved that. In the hot summertime, it's nice to go to these drive-ins. You know what these is? There's the old speakers. You don't see that much anymore. At all, if hardly. And everybody seemed like they'd be at them drive-ins in the hot summertime. You knowed half the people at these drive-ins. They bring their whole family. And a lot of people just sit outside on the cars. It's such a nice weather and enjoy it. It was really nice. And there wasn't nothing, you could smell that popcorn from the concession stand. But we'd have to go get some candy or popcorn. That's a necessity if Dad give us some money. Well, after that, we head back during the week there. My uncles would come and pick us up, take Mom and us boys over to Tennessee side. We was going to spend a day at Aunt Ma's farm. We'd always stop at Cudjoe's. That's always a necessity. We head back into the Speedwell there in Powell Valley on the Back Valley Road. Back to the old Ma and Pa's farm there. There's the old barn. And we'd help them out in late summer when the crops come in and stuff. I remember we got up hay. I enjoyed getting up hay. Well, man, that was hot work. But there wasn't nothing worse than this was the hardest work I've ever done. on a farm is getting in tobacco. Is cutting it, stacking it. Man, that is some hard, hot work. So that has to be the hardest I've ever done. And Dad would come home on the weekends and come and pick us up when he got off work. And he'd break us back home. And head us back towards Minisboro. Glad to see it. That was some hard work, but I enjoyed it. That makes you learn some responsibility. Now that was just the big occasions. But on an everyday note, we didn't do much. We just stayed around the house and being kids. Mom would run us out of the house every morning. Get out and do something. We'd all go fishing, hang out, swim, hang out around the water hole, play ball all day long. Out, just outside. And when I really loved exploring these old creeks, doing some turtle hunting, some little old gigging for fish and stuff like that, and really loved that. That's just part of growing up, just part of being a boy, learning the outdoors. Loved it so much. And I get to go help my uncles every once in a while. You try to learn about how to work on these old vehicles back then, old shade tree mechanic. It was just, you just learn it. That's just part of growing up. And there wasn't nothing better than spending time with your grandma. Oh, I love and miss her so bad. You don't miss them till they're gone. I miss them so bad, their stories. You never get tired of that. And we'd always, every once in a while in the summer, they would have a cookout, the church would, or the community. And that was a lot of fun. A lot of good eating there. A lot of good fellowship, too. And yes, I kept finding them bottles every chance I get. Collect a few here every day and a few there. Because you know what time it was? It's the fair comes in, late summer. Loved that fair. Cotton candy, all these rides. So you had to save you up some money for that. That was a real fun day. But you know school was right around the corner. But no matter what was going on, Dad would always, if he could, take us to church on Sunday. That was a must. Always. So, yes, we didn't have all the modern stuff you have today, especially all this technology. But we had a good time, and I really enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed this little video about how we done things in these rural areas in our summertime. I want to thank you for watching. God bless you, and I'll see you next time.